Hey guys, I'm Ashley. This is my new channel, So Ashley. Today I'm going to show you how to make a mask. Like this. A surgical mask with no elastic. It's pretty simple to make. It's just like a rectangle and some strips of other fabric. I made a few for my friends and family already and they like them. And I use a sewing machine, but it's possible to sew by hand or use fabric glue. Fabric glue might be easier, but it's definitely fastest to use a sewing machine. So let's get started.
For supplies, you'll need sharp scissors, pins, thread, a pen or pencil, a seam ripper because you're probably gonna mess up, a ruler, preferably one that's not broken like mine. For fabric, you'll need cotton that's tightly woven. This is muslin. It's a little too thin and see-through. If you can see through one layer, that's okay, but when you layer it with 2 layers, it shouldn't be this see-through. I used this pink cotton. It's okay if you can see through one layer, but when you fold it in 2 layers, you shouldn't be able to see through it too much. You can try using 3 layers of fabric, but it will be harder to fold for the pleats and sew through that many layers. Another thing that you can use is a bed sheet or a pillowcase, or maybe even a curtain. For the pattern, you'll need a rectangle that's 7 inches by 9 inches, and on the 7-inch side has marks for pleats that are 1 inch apart and 1/2 inch apart. You'll need a smaller strip that's 6 inches by 1.5 inches, and a really long strip that's 40 inches by 1.5 inches. For each strip, you're gonna cut 2 pieces. When you go to pin each piece on your fabric, make sure your fabric's folded in half so you're cutting through 2 layers. If your longest strip is too long, just pin as much as you can and then cut off the end and pin it somewhere else, and then we'll sew it together later. For most of my pattern pieces, I use regular paper, but it's going to be a lot harder to pin through regular paper, so I recommend using tissue paper or newspaper to make it easier. This is what all of your pieces should look like when they're cut out. To mark your pleats, you're gonna unpin the paper piece from the fabric and lay it back down a little bit away from the edge so you can mark right where each pen mark already was. Then you're gonna pin together both layers of fabric on all 4 edges and sew them together 1/4 inch from the edge. When you get to each corner, instead of sewing all the way through the edge, try leaving your needle in, lifting the presser foot, and turning the fabric, and then putting the presser foot back down and keep sewing. When you get to the end, just do a little back stitch and you're done. You could be base stitching this, that would work just fine because you're going to sew back through it when you finish the edges. To fold the pleats, you're going to take your first mark and bring it to your second mark and lay it flat and pin it. And then you're going to take the 3rd mark and bring it to the 4th mark, and then the 5th mark to the 6th mark, and make sure that all of the pleats are laying the same way. And then you're gonna do it on the other side the same. Before you press it, you're gonna have to fiddle with it a little bit until it lays a little bit flat and even. Then you're gonna take your iron and press it down. After you press it, you're going to sew right back through that same line that you sewed before, or if you can't get it on the same line, then do it a little bit towards the outside so it doesn't show when you finish. Remember to take each pin out as you go, otherwise you might break your needle and take your eye out. You don't have to sew all the way to the end, just make sure that you catch each pleat. Next, we're gonna press each little strip of fabric. You're gonna fold it in half and press it, and then open it back up and press it lightly. Then you're gonna fold one edge till it almost meets the middle. Each folded edge should be about 1/4 inch, and then fold the other edge so that it is a little bit away from the middle as well. Then you can fold it in half and press it flat. You're gonna do the same thing with the really long strips, except for you have to finish the end. So you're gonna press it open again and then fold the end of the strip in about 1/2 inch and then fold it back closed and press it. We're gonna sew the shorter strip onto the shorter edge by opening up one flap so that the inside is facing you, and make sure that your edges are meeting. What? Yeah. So just pin it like that so the edges are meeting. I don't really know how to explain that. Then we're gonna sew 1/4 inch from the edge, which should be where the fold is, so you should be able to see that since you pressed it. So just follow the fold. After you've sewn that together, then you're gonna fold it all the way over like this, and make sure that it covers your stitching line on the other side, and pin. So you're gonna top stitch all the way down, close to the inner edge, and then when you're finished, just chop off the extra fabric. And don't ask me why they don't match up. That's just what the pattern told me to do. To sew the longer strips on, we need to find the middle of the mask and the middle of the longer strip. So just fold each one in half and pin where the fold is, and then match up your pins. You're gonna pin it the same way as you did with the smaller strips. And then sew it the same way right down the open fold, 1/4 inch from the edge. After you've sewn that, then you're gonna fold it over the same way as you did on the short edges. Only this time, you're gonna pin it all the way down the straps as well. It's gonna be a little bit difficult to figure out where exactly is easiest to sew the straps on your machine. It took me like 3 tries to figure out where to put my needle. I eventually figured out to move my needle all the way to the right so that the foot and the teeth of my machine were still pulling the fabric through. Once you figure out where exactly to put your needle, it's going to be a lot easier to do it on the other side of the straps. So I just sewed all the way from one end of the strap until the other end of the strap, just straight through the middle, just close to the edge, just like the short sides. You could try starting from the middle. It might be easier for your machine to pull the fabric through if you start from the middle. Then you're going to do the same thing on the other longer side, and this is what it looks like when you're done. And then you're finished. And that's it. Congratulations. You've got yourself a mask.
Here's a couple examples of how you can use muslin as the straps instead of using your tightly woven cotton if you don't have enough. This is how mine turned out, and this is another one where I used it on the sides as well. That's pretty much all I have for you. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and subscribe to stay updated on my next project. Let's cut that part out, but thanks for watching. See you next time.